Okay, so that's you. You wake up in cold seawater, somewhere on the coast of Azeroth. No parents, no childhood, no tutorial pop-up, just mud, seaweed, and an overwhelming urge to scream, Congratulations, you're a Murloc. And if you thought life in Azeroth was dangerous for adventurers, try being the creature they practice on, because while heroes get epic quests and legendary weapons, your entire existence is basically someone else's tutorial mission. And the worst part? You don't even realize how bad things are going to get, not yet. Your life begins the way most Murloc lives begin. You crawl out of the ocean near a quiet beach village, waves crashing, fellow Murlocs walking around, a few huts made of sticks and bones. Honestly, it's kind of peaceful. If you ignore the constant screaming, you look around and see your tribe. Some are fishing, some are arguing. One of them is chasing a crab like it insulted his family, which seems perfectly reasonable. You try to communicate with them. They answer, Good. You are clearly having a meaningful conversation. For a moment you think, hey, this isn't so bad. And then you notice something. Your village is actually pretty impressive by Murloc standards. You have a fire going. You have a fish storage system. Someone even decorated a hut with seashells. There's culture here. There's community. And then you hear it, footsteps. Heavy footsteps, a human warrior wearing armor that looks like it was made from frying pans. Level 6, fresh out of the starting zone, still smells like tutorial candles. And he's staring directly at you, like you owe him experience points. You scream your greeting. He pulls out a sword, and suddenly your entire village turns into a combat tutorial. Here's the thing about Murlocs. You aren't a civilization, you aren't a faction. You're not even mid-game content. You're a quest objective. Every new adventurer in Azeroth eventually receives a mission that looks something like this. Kill 10 Murlocs. Collect 8 Murloc eyes. Stop the Murloc threat, which sounds dramatic. Until you realize the threat is just you and your cousins trying to eat fish. And here's what makes it even worse. You've been here longer than most of these adventurers can imagine, before the human kingdoms were built, before the roads were paved, before anyone decided this beach belonged to anyone. This is your home. But before we go any further, let's talk about where you actually come from. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. Murlocs are ancient. Like, embarrassingly ancient. Historians believe your ancestors may have existed before the trolls. Yeah, you heard me, right before the trolls. One of the oldest races on Azeroth. Your people lived deep in the ocean for thousands of years. Cold, dark, peaceful. No adventurers down there, no quests, no frying pan armor, just fish. Then the Naga showed up and your entire species said, yeah, we're leaving. So you came to the surface, found some nice beaches, and built some huts. Started a civilization, and within what feels like 5 minutes of arriving on land, a level 6 human showed up with a quest called Murloc Menace. Thousands of years of history, ancient and proud lineage, and you're still just someone else's tutorial mission, and yet somehow, you're the problem. You didn't invade anyone's village. You didn't declare war. You didn't steal anyone's shipment of grain. You just exist, on a beach, making noise. And for that crime, every new player has been asked to murder your entire family. But it gets worse. Because you do try to communicate. Murlocs actually have a language, a rich and complex form of communication. To you, it's poetry. Unfortunately, to everyone else, it sounds like this. So every diplomatic interaction goes the same way. You approach a traveler peacefully, you scream a greeting, they panic. And suddenly, you're getting hit by fireballs, axes, or a dwarf with anger issues. All because your language sounds like a drowning blender. Now, if you're wondering, well, at least Murlocs are weak, right? Not exactly. Because fighting one Murloc is easy. Fighting one Murloc never happens. See, Murlocs have a very advanced defensive strategy. If one Murloc is attacked, every Murloc within screaming distance immediately joins the fight, which means what started as a simple duel suddenly becomes 3 Murlocs, 5 Murlocs, 8 Murlocs, all charging at a level 5 player who's still wearing cloth pants and holding a stick. And just when the adventurer finally starts winning, you do something truly evil. You run away, not strategically, not tactically. Not because Sun Tzu whispered in your ear. You ran because a skeleton with a robe just set you on fire. You scream, you flee. You bring back cousins, in-laws, that one uncle who overreacts to everything. And suddenly, the level 5 is discovering what fear tastes like. What they don't realize is that you weren't executing some brilliant military tactic. You were just scared. You saw a giant armored creature swinging a blade at your face, and you ran home, like anyone would. But the adventurer doesn't see it that way. To them, you're a menace, a griever, a cheap enemy that cheats by having friends. So they go back to the village with a vengeance, and they bring a friend this time. Probably a priest, of course, to heal him. But even if you somehow survive the adventurers, life as a Murloc is still terrible. First problem. No one respects you. You aren't feared like dragons. You aren't powerful like demons. You aren't mysterious like the undead. You are a walking meme. Your voice is a joke. Your appearance is a joke. Your entire species is basically comic relief. And the truly insulting part? There is a collectible plushie version of you. It says, children hug it. They love the idea of you. They think you're adorable. Meanwhile, in Westfall, your cousin Greg has been killed 47 times today. The same creature they have sitting on their desk, dead on the beach. But it gets worse. Because when adventurers kill you, they search your body. And what do they find? Ancient treasures, legendary weapons? No. They find things like 2 copper, a damp sock, slimy scales, random fish parts. Your corpse isn't even worth looting. You're not an enemy. You're trash with legs. And if that wasn't bad enough, you die constantly. Entire Murloc villages get wiped out multiple times a day, but don't worry. Because the most intriguing part hasn't happened yet. At first, death seems final. The adventurer kills you, everything fades to black, and you think, well, that's it. But then something strange happens. You wake up. Back on the same beach, same village, same ocean. You don't remember everything, but you are already screaming. You're not just dying, you're respawning. Over and over, forever. Your life is an endless cycle of spawn, scream, get farmed for experience, and repeat. And the really dark part? Somewhere deep in your tiny Murloc brain, there's a feeling, a familiar dread, like you've seen these footsteps before. You've heard this sword being unsheathed before. You know exactly how this ends, and you scream anyway. Because what else are you going to do? You're a Murloc. Screaming is all you have. No escape, no ending. Just an infinite loop of adventurers committing coastal genocide. So let's recap your life as a Murloc. You spawn in the worst possible locations. Your entire species exists as a tutorial quest. Nobody understands your language. You've lived on these coastlines for thousands of years and still get treated like a pest. You accidentally terrify new players. Everyone mocks you. Your loot is worthless. And when you die, you don't stay dead. You respawn. And the cycle starts again. So if you ever hear a Murloc screaming on the shoreline, that's not aggression. That's not hostility. That's generational trauma echoing across the tides. That's a creature who has been farmed for 17 real-world years, who has watched empires rise and fall, and who knows that tomorrow a brand new level 1 with big dreams and frying pan armor is coming over that hill. And you will scream. You will charge. You will die. And you will respawn. Because you are not a villain. You are not a monster. You are not even content. You are a coastline speed bump. And honestly, that might be worse than dying.